more like him. Hallelujah, hallelujah, glory to you, glory to you, hallelujah. Died for me, took away my sins. I've been changed, now I'm born again.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to another episode of Miracles on Earth. I am so blessed and honored to have our guest tonight, Miss JoVaun Gash.
Hello.
Welcome to Miracles on Earth. Excited to have you tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So tonight we're going to talk about overcoming triumphing in challenging situations. We're going to talk about realistic steps to buy a home. So if you are someone that's watching this replay or watching the live and you don't know how to purchase a house, you don't know if it's even possible for you, we're going to talk about that. We're going to break down all of those blocks that we have in our mind, and we're going to help someone realize that homeownership can be their dream as well. So,
amen.
So JoVaun, just in short words, I want you to introduce yourself, let our audience know who you are, and we'll start there.
Absolutely. My name is JoVaun Gash. I have been a resident of Georgia for over 30 years. I am originally from Washington, D.C. I am a mother of two wonderful daughters. I am a graduate of Mercer University. I have been in corporate America as a corporate accountant for over 20 years. Shoot, I probably should start saying over 25 years. I also have a real estate license and newly have become a Georgia licensed broker. Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you. What can I say? I know it may sound strange, but I like money. I like the way money works. I like the way money feels in my hand. I like the way money grows. I like to see money grow. But not in a greed sort of way, but in a good sort of way, because I feel like life is for the living. And they say money can't buy you happiness. I totally feel like that's a false statement, because happiness is home ownership. Happiness is riding in your car and riding in a safe car, riding in a car that you don't have to worry about. I feel like happiness is when you're on vacation with your family and everyone's smiling and having a good time. Yes. You cannot do those things without money. Not in this world, not in this America. Yes, even getting points on your credit card, you got to spend some money to get those points to be able to have those travel perks. So yeah, you can earn a free trip, but you earn a free trip by spending money. So get out of your head that the misconception that money is the root of all evil and money can't buy happiness. That's not true. It's all in how you use the money, how you utilize the money, your mindset, where your spirit is when you're spending your money. That's what dictates it all. So I mean, I probably went in a nutshell. Went off on a tangent, but we're gonna have fun tonight. This is not gonna be a stuffy interview at all. So.
I love it. I love what you said, that money is a tool. And a lot of times people misread the scripture. The scripture actually says the love of money is the root of all evil. And sometimes people put money where it's their God. And people worship money. They feel like money is bigger than their God. And in the Bible, money is the only thing that God compares himself to as another God. When he said that you cannot worship mammon and God. So I think people need to really realize that the love of money. But the Bible also says that money answers all things. So you need money, right? You need money, and it's not a bad thing, and it's a great thing. So I want to talk about money tonight. I want to talk about some tips that you can give our viewers when it comes to saving. I know you're big on saving. That's something that I myself am growing into. So do you have any tips when it comes to saving?
Yes, I have several tips when it comes to saving. And I love talking about saving money because I don't know, it just gets me in the sweet spot to see your $5 grow into $10 and your $10 grow into $20 and your $100 grow into $200. I think what happens with people when they think about saving money, they make saving money too big.
Mm.
Start from where you are. When I try to communicate with people about saving money, I try to start where they are. Everybody isn't at a I could save $1,000 level, or everybody's not at a I could save $10,000 tomorrow level. No, some people may just have $10, but guess what? I want you to start with that $10. Start with that $10 and put it away somewhere. Hopefully in a high yield savings account, but if you can't do that, put it away. And when you get a little extra, put some of that away.
Mhm.
We're in a age now where people are doing so many extra things, but besides having their regular jobs. Most people have a core job that takes care of their core bills, and they do extra things so that they can do fun things or do their self-care, what have you. Well, when you start to make your money from your extra businesses and even from your job, just be intentional to take some of that money and add it to what you have. If you at a $10 level, add at the $10 level. If you at a $5 level, add at the $5 level. If you at a $20 level, add at the $20 level. Don't make it too big. Start off where you are, where you can, and then just start. Because what happens is if you put that money in an interest bearing account and you start to see that money grow, I promise you, saving becomes addicting. It becomes like a drug. But then you're not stressed when you have to pay your tithes to the church.
Mhm.
You're not stressed now that your beautiful car, you need some tires. You're not stressed because now you need tires because you have intentionally learned to save. But I say start from where you are and be intentional. That's the main tip. Savings only works if you make it work. You have to be intentional and say, I'm going to save $5 a week, or I'm going to save $10 a week. You have to intentionally tell yourself, and then you have to intentionally do it.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yes.
That's really good.
And the jar works. I mean, it don't have to be, don't make it hard. Some people may say going to the bank is too much. Okay, get a jar.
Mhm.
But make sure that this jar is your commitment jar and you just start doing it.
Mhm.
But just do it. It's not going to happen talking about it. You have to put it in action.
Yeah.
And you have to be intentional.
Wow.
And you could make a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Take a piece of paper and write it out. You're like, okay, well, I get paid every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I'm gonna do $50, $10. But be intentional with whatever you're gonna do. Those are my 2 tips. And just be about your business. Set that goal, and I promise you, it will become addicting.
I love that. I love that. That really just gives me a desire to save.
Yes.
Like just breaking it down like that, and it makes it small. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So that really makes it small and makes it reasonable. So
I got one more real quick on this.
oh yeah, sure.
So most people get paid on a bi-weekly schedule.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? On a bi-weekly payment schedule, you receive 26 paychecks within a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, typically in a month, you live off of 2 paychecks. 2 times 12 is 24. But if you look at it on a grand scale, you've earned 2 extra checks in a year. Mm-hmm. Now, somebody's going to say, it's not really extra checks, it's my money. Mm-hmm. But you've trained yourself to live off of 2 checks a month.
Yeah.
Think about that. So if you intentionally look at the calendar for when your payrolls are and find where those extra checks come in, and you be intentional that you take that extra check and save it, oh my gosh, you got a lump sum right there.
Wow.
That's one of your whole paychecks that now you can put in the bank. Mm-hmm. You can take a little bit, take your $100, $200, or whatever. But you can take that whole check and now you have essentially started your savings account or started your savings plan with that large lump sum of money.
Wow.
But if you're not intentional about it and you don't think about it like that, guess what you're going to do? It's just going to come in your account and it's going to become liquid and you're just going to spend it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely,
that's just another quick tip for anybody that gets paid bi-weekly. You done learned how to live off the 2. You're going to get, there's 2 times in a year you're going to get 3. Take that third one and squirrel it away. Act like you never got it.
Wow, that's really good.
Just imagine that's like getting a tax refund.
Yeah.
Throughout the year.
For
so you're going to get your tax refund and your 2 extra checks, essentially.
Wow, I've
Why you can't
never looked
save?
at it like that. I have never even, and I think it's education.
It's education.
And I think people have to know that because I've never even heard that before.
But think
So,
about it. It
yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
it makes a whole lot of sense. It does, and we do get that extra check. I be actually excited about that money.
But guess what?
Yeah, I gotta be more intentional about that money. That's good. Yeah. That's good. So I kind of want to backtrack. I want to talk about. I already asked who is JoVaun, right? I let you do an introduction, but I want to talk about how did JoVaun become where she is today. I want to talk about what was your childhood like? What type of things did you face as a child? Was everything given to you? Were you set up for success? Were you put in position, I want to say, to be who you are today?
I will say yes. Even though there were issues in my home as a child. So my father, he was abusive and he drank, and my mother also was, she drank too. But even in all of that, their hearts were good and they instilled really good values. Like my father would always, I think he's why I'm the type of person like this. You buy what you want. Don't just buy just to have something. If you're gonna get a car, save up to get the car you want. And that my dad, he would drill that type of stuff in me. If you're gonna get something, get what you want. And he was a hustler. I mean, he had so many little side jobs. I think that, there's a little Jamaican in me because of him, because he wasn't Jamaican, though. He was straight black, y'all. Because I'm a hard worker. Like I'm not opposed to get my hands dirty or getting wet, getting in the mud or what have you. And, he loved cars. I would be under the car with him. And, even my mother, um, instilling in just being a hard worker, being present, being on time.
That's good.
You go to work. They definitely drilled in us to go to work, even when they didn't feel good. So I think all that stuff is in you, and
I love it.
It's in there. I was raised as an only child, even though I have other siblings, but I was raised as an only child. And growing up in that time, when you have issues going on and there's some type of substance abuses, it can be a challenge, and especially with having a father who gets angry and wants to fight, it can be a challenge. So I definitely think I had a childhood where there were more scary times. Because it's scary when your parents are fighting, and it's scary when you see blood or things like that. But I think all of those situations groom me to where I am now. Like there's people that'll meet me and they'll say, "Oh, you're so happy and you're so this and you're so bubbly." You will have no idea. Mm-hmm. You will have no idea those things happen. But I think that those situations mold you, and if you take the situations and don't let them become you,
absolutely,
you overcome them by working to be better and working to be stronger and working to be more of a you want light in your home. You want your kids to come home and feel an exhale and be free. So I would say that my childhood experiences definitely helped me to be me. Strong but emotional, passionate, yeah, about things. And yeah, I mean, like I feel like I've worked hard to make sure that I have had a different environment for my children.
I love it.
And I don't know if you just wanted me to stay in childhood, if you wanted me to go into how I became a saver out of what experience growing up. But
I think what you hit on as far as your childhood is very important because, the reason I asked that question is because you may be in a situation and you feel like, why is this happening to me? But I want you to know that according to Romans 8:28, he said that I cause all things to work together for your good, for the good of those who are the called and that love God. So a lot of times people don't realize that their home life situations or their childhood situations is what helps shape and develop them to become who they are today. I know for me, the things that I grew up in, it pushed me to become aggressive when it comes to being successful. It pushed me to become, um, it drove me closer to God. I want to say that it drove me closer to God, and it caused me to really seek Him for my life. It caused me to really get to know Him outside of the church system and get to know Him outside of what I was told I was going to be. So that's why I asked you that question, just because I know you are very successful in what you do. I admire your drive. I admire your push to keep going in spite of. And I know there's so much to you that I do not know, but just what I've seen in just a short time of getting to know you, I admire that. So,
and I left out that God was with me along the way.
Absolutely.
That in those scary times, He was a comfort.
Absolutely.
In some of those times where, this might be TMI, where we had to run out the house because we feared our safety, me and my mother. God was always a comfort.
Amen.
My mother always made sure that I was in church. Even if she didn't go to church, there was a church bus that would come and pick JoVaun Gash up. And I didn't care if it was a cousin, my brother, anybody at the house. She didn't make them go. Mm-hmm. I had to get my butt on that bus and go to church. He's always been there. Yes. Spiritually, I remember times I felt His presence as a child, because demons would visit me and torment me, but God was always there. I honestly sometimes wonder how I didn't lose my mind, or how I didn't crumble, or even like now, like how I'm still standing, because some of those moments were scary as hell, literally. Because if anyone out there is spiritual and knows, when demons like to visit you and torment you, um and when you're a child, they're relentless. And when you're a child and you're trying to understand, you don't understand giftings, you don't understand callings, you don't understand these things, and it's like, but you're just scared. And you're just like, God help me. And there's no one you can talk to, because no one else sees demons around you, and they don't understand the language that you're talking. You don't want to seem crazy, you're a little kid, but there's so much. We would be on this thing talking forever and a day about some things, but he's always been there with me as well. Like, God has always been there, and I love Him, because I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, He's faithful.
Yeah, I wouldn't have made it.
And I think that's really the reason why I do. Sorry, I think we had a little camera issue there, but that's really the reason why I do this broadcast, is because I want people to declare that their life is a miracle, and God has been present every moment. Mm-hmm. And I think oftentimes we do not give God enough credit. Oftentimes we do not survey our life and say, you know what? Yeah, this was hard, but because of the grace of God, I made it out of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was hard, and to you may have given up, or you may have known someone that's taken their life based on what I've gone through. But God's kept me. God has been faithful. He's been with me through every part of the journey. So one thing about you that I do know is you have two daughters, and one of those daughters you had at the age of 17. Is that right?
Correct.
So I want you to share with our audience how you was a teen mother and you still kept going. Like, what was the push in you that caused you to keep going? Because some people, they have a child and they feel like, oh, my life is over. And some people words are spoken over them as a teen mother. Oh, you're not going to be nothing. Mm-hmm. You had that baby at 16.
You're going to have another one.
Yeah.
In a year.
Mm-hmm. So tell me how you navigated those challenges.
Prayer.
Amen.
Faith. I had to stand firm on the solid rock.
Amen.
Life was so hard, being pregnant at 17 and being in high school. I mean, let's talk about the baby shower. How no one showed up. I had one friend, but it was a group of friends that gave me the baby shower. They were all there, but one guest showed up. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the primary reason was because it was, people shunned upon it and people's parents didn't allow them to come.
Wow.
But nonetheless, I had teachers tell me my life was ruined and, basically trying to curse the baby in my womb, that we weren't going to be anything, that our life was nothing, and all these things. So you just imagine being 17, you barely know who you are, and here you are, you're getting ready to have this baby. So now it's time for this baby to be born. I think the miracle was just in her being born and being placed into my hands.
Amen.
I had her natural childbirth. I was determined I wasn't going to get an epidural. But anyway, just her being born and just her very essence and knowing that I love this individual more than anything in this world. And that I must at all costs take care of this baby, protect this baby, and give this baby the best possible life that I can with what little bit that I had. Because I had a little bit of nothing.
Yeah.
And truly, one of my God moments was because of my baby. Because of my 17, the baby I had at 17. I had her, and one day I'm like, child, she needed Pampers. Babies need something all the time.
Sure.
I had been working since I was 14 years old. So 17, 14, 3 years. I should have some money saved, right? I should have $1, $20, $5. I had $0. I had no dollars. Zero. And I remember looking down at her and I was like, oh my God, I have this whole baby I have to take care of. And at the time, her dad, he was going through some stuff, and it was just like, but I felt like it was on me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that was my baby. Because her daddy had already flipped the script anyway. So I looked down at this baby. I said, I don't know how I'm going to get you Pampers. I remember I was crying, literally tears were flowing, and I was praying at the same time. And I said, God, I promise if you get me out this situation, I'm going to be a saver. Because it makes no sense. I've been working really since I was 14, but I've been working since I was 8 years old. This is what I was saying in my mind. Because I used to walk dogs, dog sit, whatever I could, babysit. I should have had some money to get some Pampers. It was a situation that broke me. Yeah. And I had this human being looking at me, and she's looking at me because she just loves me, and I love her. But I didn't feel like I was good enough to take care of her. Because I am nothing. Told God, whenever I get a chance, I will become a saver from this moment. Wow. If I ever get the opportunity. And at the time, I was just getting ready to go to college. And, in college, they would give, refund checks if you got Pell Grant or whatever.
Remember the refunds.
And I remember the kids telling me about it because I didn't know anything about it because this was my first semester of school. And I said, whatever this check they talking about, I'm going to save it. Well, anyway, make a long story short, literally in that moment, I went to the mailbox and there was a check for $50 from one of my aunties. And it was something like, congratulations on the new baby. But I knew that was God speaking back that everything's going to be all right.
Amen. Faithful.
From that moment on, I became a saver.
Wow.
I think the refund check came from college, and the first thing I did, everybody was getting new shoes. They was buying cars, clothes, spending every last bit of that refund check. Mine literally went in the Wachovia Bank. It used to be on Memorial Drive. It's a Wells Fargo now. I went in there and put that whole thing in the bank. And I've been a saver ever since.
Wow. Wow.
Because I said I wasn't going to have another moment like that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, and I prayed to God that I wouldn't have a moment like that again. And that was hard, but
but God.
But God. Yep.
So the reason I wanted to highlight your being a teen mother is because, like I stated, you may feel like your life is over, but it's not. It's just beginning. So some of you are here because you want to be a homeowner and you've never seen it done. You don't feel like it can happen for you. So I want to talk all things homeownership. I want to talk about some practical steps that we can take or that our viewers can take when they are desiring to buy a home. So let me ask you this first question. If I'm a single young lady, I'm not married, and I have children, is home ownership possible for me, or is it something that I should wait on until I find my husband?
Nope, it's possible. I'm on home number 3 as a single. I've never been married, and I've purchased 3 homes in my lifetime.
Wow.
Um, the first home, my daughter was turning 5. Second home, she was like 7 or 8, and then this house we're in now, of course. But I bought 3 as a single individual. So no, you can buy a house by yourself. You don't have to have a partner. But of course, having a partner can help.
Sure.
It's nice to have 2 incomes, but
Sure.
you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it if you do the homework, and if you do what needs to be done, you can do it. It's obtainable.
Yeah. Let's talk about the homework. What does the homework look like? So I'm on a 1 income household. Or maybe you may be on a 2 income household. What does some of the homework look like? What are some of the steps that I need to take to get prepared to purchase a home?
Primary, even before credit. Yes, credit is important, but the primary thing you need to do is save. That's the number one homework item is save. Save as much as you can. Set a goal for at least $10,000. Then when you reach that goal, try to save some more. Because the misconception is that you can buy a house for free with no money, that you don't need money. And it's not true. Even if you do get down payment assistance or what have you, you still have to put a deposit down on that home. You should have an inspection for that home. That home will have an appraisal on it unless you're paying all cash. That house will have closing costs. You have to have some money saved. I'm sorry if your cousin or you saw on TV that they said you could buy a house with $0. It is not true. It's not true. No. So saving is number one. Mm-hmm. The next thing is keeping your credit in order. Check your credit score. Contrary to what most people think, you don't have to have an 800 credit score to be a homeowner.
Okay, that's good.
You don't.
Where can I start at?
You can start as low as 580.
Okay, a 580.
However, most mortgage companies want you to have at least a 620.
Okay, 620.
But the misconception is people think they're like, oh, I meet so many people, they're like, my credit isn't good. And I'm like, what's your credit score? They was like, I have a 680. I'm like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, I want a good interest rate. You can still get a good interest rate with a 680 credit score.
That's good.
Yes. So now working on your credit, working on things on your credit to better your credit, paying things off, talking to creditors that you may have some type of negative blemish on your account. Talk to those creditors to see if you can work something out so that you can get your points going back up. But your credit is important. I say save first because if your credit is good and you don't have the money, you can't do anything. At least if you have the money and your credit is on the edge, we can give you tools to get you to push you on over. But if you don't have the money saved, we got 2 things you got to do. So first I say save, 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 save. Yes.
That's good.
But home ownership is attainable and it's available to any and everybody. And there's all kinds of houses. If you're a DIY person, you don't have to get a fancy house. You can buy one of these that are on the lower end of the market and fix it up. It's something for everybody. However, you may not be able to get this beautiful home Miracle has here if, it just depends on everybody's finances, your credit. Like, it's a formula that goes into everything to determine what type of home you can get.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So if I have some unpaid collections on my credit, and I don't want to go into, I know you're not a lender, but if I know you know the business. So if I have some unpaid collections or I have a credit card that is closed off or charged off on my credit, should I pay those things prior to looking for a home?
Well, what I will say about that, even though I'm not a lender, what I would say first is determine where your credit score is. How can I say hovering first? And if you're hovering already in the green area, which means it's a go, I wouldn't do anything until you talk to the lender. Because once you talk to the lender, they will tell you which steps are needed to get you, Jane Doe, where you need to go.
That's good.
And you may sit there and think you need to pay all these things off. And guess what? It may not be necessary. It may be that the lender says, hey, JoVaun, I just need you to write them a letter, and I need to see that you wrote them a letter, or I need you to contact them and say XYZ and let me know the feedback information that they give back. I think sometimes we think that we have to work on all those things, but if you're already in the green area, talk to the lender first, because what the lender will do is tell you exactly what you need to do. And there's some people that think I have to pay all my credit off. No, some credit is good. Again, talk to the professionals. Don't just assume. Don't just listen to what your cousin Pookie said or what Bebe said down the street. No, you have to go and talk to the real professionals. And when you look to search for a realtor, research the realtor. Like, I just this week I've received 2 phone calls where individuals are working with realtors who aren't working for them. I work a little different, and I think it annoys some of my clients, but I think in the end they appreciate it.
Sure.
I'm really big on educating as we go. So like if one of my clients comes to me and asks me a question, I won't just say yes or no. I'll try to tell them why so that they can have the reasoning behind it. So that way they become a better consumer, they're knowledgeable, and they understand what's going on. I try to the best of my ability to give them the service that I want to get if it was me doing the same thing that they were doing.
Okay, that's really good.
Yes.
So when I'm looking in the market, so what you said is the green area. What is the green area? Is it that 580 to the
620 up?
Oh, 620 and up is the green area. Okay. So when I'm looking for a home, do I need to be pre-qualified before I look for that home?
Great question. Great question. I generally try to gauge where my clients want to be. And for this very reason that you asked this question, if you desire a new construction home, I would say no. Don't get a pre-qualification. Why? Because most new construction communities have their own lenders. And they offer these incentives if you use these lenders. Don't waste the credit pool. If you know in your heart confidently, I want a new construction, don't get a pre-qualification. Now, if you know you want a resale home, I would say yes, getting a pre-qualification is good, because then we know which price or which budget to be in and which homes to look at for you. But again, talk to the professional first. Find you a realtor and get these questions out first. Interview, talk, ask your questions. Remember, you're the consumer. And at the end of the day, you're going to be the one living in the house, not me. I'm just going to help you get there and help you try to achieve your dream of home ownership.
That's good. That's a great response. So what should someone look for? What is considered a good realtor? And I asked that because when I was in my process of looking for a home, I ran across people that didn't work for me, or they didn't motivate me, or they didn't make me feel like I could do it. What are some key aspects to look for to say, okay, I got somebody that's working with me. I got a good realtor on my team.
I think just what you said. You got to go with what your gut tell you, your spirit tell you. Make sure you have your ears open to what you're hearing in the background. Ask the questions. If they're not answering the questions the way that it suffice for you or sufficient for how you want to do business, move on and interview someone else. I just think it takes you having to have a couple of conversations with them. It's just like dating.
Yeah.
Before you say, okay, I mesh well with that person, or I feel like this person is going to give me the best service. But you also hold all the power. If you feel like your realtor isn't servicing you the way that you want to be serviced, now you can't just go out and just choose another realtor. Now you have to release that realtor of their duties, and usually you have to sign a document, and then you can move on and get another realtor. But you have the power to say that this business relationship isn't working.
So what if there's no contract or agreement in place? This is just someone that you've been casually talking to. Do you still have to be in writing? Is there something that has to be in writing for that?
Yes, in Georgia, as of August of last year, there's no more casual conversations.
Oh wow!
Yes,
That's
you must
new.
be in contract. Yes,
That's new. So you have to, before you start working with this realtor, they have to put a contract in place.
Yep.
Okay.
It's called a brokerage agreement.
Okay, that's
Yes.
good.
You have to be in a brokerage agreement with that agent,
Mm-hmm.
but really before they start giving you any advice and take you to see any home.
I'm sure that protects the realtor, because sometimes this realtor could invest so much time with someone, show them a bunch of houses, and then their time is not compensated. So I'm sure that protects you as a
Yeah, it has benefits for both sides.
Yeah.
Yes, it has benefits for both sides.
Okay.
Of course.
That's good. That's good to know. So, what are some benefits that you would say? So, if I'm leaning towards a new construction or a resale home, what do you feel like tilts that the scale one way or the other?
Okay, so ultimately it's preference of the consumer.
Okay.
But of course, with new constructions, they're offering you so much. It's kind of hard to not take the bait or not want to get what they're offering. Especially now it's wintertime, which is considered to be off-peak season. I've been seeing appliance packages,
Wow.
full closing costs. I've been seeing that if it's a community that has an HOA, that they'll pay your HOA for a year. New constructions will incentivize you, uh, you know, differently than a resale will. Mm-hmm. But some resales come with an incentive where they'll give you a contribution towards closing costs and things like that. But there's some things you can ask for in the negotiation process. But you know, isn't it nice when you don't have to ask and it's just already given?
That's really good.
So getting a new construction can be a little more seamless or easier for someone, because they already got it planned out, what they're gonna give you, how you're gonna get it, if you're gonna get a refrigerator, if you're not gonna get a refrigerator. Closing costs can generally estimate to be about 3% of the sales price. That could be 10, 12, $14,000. If the builder is paying that, that's more money that you get to keep in your pocket that you don't have to bring to the table. So, I can't tell someone which way to go. They ultimately have to make the choice, but it's something about a new construction that's so appealing.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's a lot easier. And the reason I ask that question is because sometimes we think of buying a house like buying a car. We feel like, okay, if I go to a used car, then it's going to be a little bit cheaper. The payments are going to be a little bit more feasible, and not knowing the facts of, okay, I can still get a new house and still come out the same way, or if not better.
Very true. It all depends on interest rate offers, because right now, builders are buying down interest rates to like 4.99%. Wow. When the market rate right now is like 6.8, close to 7%. Those 2 points that's a few $100s off your mortgage. Come on now. But then not only that, like you said, again, it's a numbers game. You could think that you're getting a better deal by getting the resale because the ticket price is less. But if that house is 20 years old, now you have to have the inspection. And I'm not talking against it. I'm just saying there's just factors that come into it, where sometimes, like you said, with the used car, same thing with the used house. What's under the hood? What's under the roof? What is it gonna cost you in the long run? So you may be better off getting something new. You're the first owner. Your equity usually grows, because especially if it's a neighborhood where they're building more homes, your equity is going to go up, because what happens is homes are an asset that usually, I'm gonna say 98% of the time, appreciate. Real estate usually doesn't depreciate. So that's one thing, it should go up in value.
That's good.
Normally it goes up in value. You're in a neighborhood and they're still building houses. What happens? Just like we saw from the beginning of last year, what happened? Inflation. Prices went up. Home prices went up. So now that they're building these new houses in this neighborhood that you bought a new house in, but they still have phase 5, 6, 7, and 8 to build, your equity is just going to go up the more and more they start to build and put those new homes in. So you win a winning game. I mean, but that's why I said you got to get you a professional who knows. Interview your realtors before you choose one. Don't go at it alone. I hire one of us. You can hire me. I'm for hire. But or you can find somebody else. Get a realtor. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're trying to get rid of us, but we help more than we hurt. I mean, yes, we help. You know what I'm trying to say. We're going to help you more than it's going to be bad for you at all. It shouldn't be bad. A realtor's going to help you and help you navigate terms, conditions, contracts, all that hard stuff that you don't want to be worried about.
Okay, that's good. That's good information. So, what annual salary do I need to be making to qualify to be a homeowner? And I say, okay, if I'm a teacher, I'm a firefighter, I'm a police officer, do I qualify to buy a home?
Okay. So I can't give you a direct answer on that one because everybody's situation is different. Mm-hmm. You could be a firefighter who has a VA loan. A VA loan means somebody who used to be in the military. VA qualifications are different. You got a VA loan, you don't have to have a down payment. Mm-hmm. That's going to help you on your debt to income ratio. That's good. You could be a firefighter making $100,000 a year, mm-hmm. but your debt to income ratio is at 60%. Mm-hmm. So your income didn't matter because now your debt to income ratio is too high. Mm-hmm.
So I'm making maybe somewhere around 45 to 50,000. Can I still buy a house?
Anyone can try.
Yeah,
I definitely
have you seen that?
I have.
You have, okay.
But your mix has to be the right mix.
Got to be mixing.
It got to be the right mix.
Okay.
Because
so the right mix of credit, debt to ratio, mm-hmm. income.
Because if you come in with a lot of debt and your income is lower, you're not gonna you'll qualify for something, but it may not qualify for what you want.
Yeah.
So it may not be a yes right now, but eventually you can work on some things. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about second jobs.
Okay.
Since like post pandemic, if you work a second job, you need to be showing that job for 2 years. Okay. For them to count that income. That's been a big thing that's been coming up now because people are like, well, I work 2 jobs. They won't take this income. They need 2 years of it.
2 years, okay.
2 years of that second income for it to count towards how much money you make to be able to buy a house. Do your taxes. Get your taxes done.
That's good.
That's another thing that people tend to forget about. File your taxes. Your taxes are needed when you buy a house. And you go through the lending process. Yes.
So what if I owe the IRS, but my taxes are filed? Can I still qualify? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't have the answer to that question.
I was just curious because I know some people, they may have a balance or a payment plan that they're making with the IRS and
I'm sure it's going to count towards whatever their debt to income ratio, because right now that's a debt. Mm-hmm. That's a liability.
Okay.
That's somebody they owe, so that's going to go into their formulary.
Okay.
I'm sure, but I'm not for certain.
Okay. That's still an answer. That's a good answer.
Any money you owe can be scrutinized, and even student loans and all those good things. They may weight your student loan a little different than your typical debt, but all of it comes into play.
What if I file bankruptcy? Can I qualify for a home then? I mean,
not right away.
Go away.
Not right away.
How long do I wait?
In some instances 3 years, in other instances 7 to 10. If you file bankruptcy.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Some instances.
Everything
can change.
Well, there's chapter 7 and chapter 13. So it depends on which one you file that can dictate the years where you can be able to apply and qualify for a home.
Okay. Yes. That's a nugget I didn't know about.
Yep.
Okay.
And your 401k. If you have a 401k, if you're trying to buy a home and you got $100,000 in your 401k and you want to buy a house and you're like, okay, well, I only have about $10,000 in my savings account, but you got $100,000 in your 401k. You can use funds in your 401k as funds to buy a house.
That's good.
And little to no penalty for doing that. They give you some leeway there.
Okay.
But it's, there'll be some documentation that you will have to provide that you're going to be using those funds to buy your house. But yes, you can use your 401k money.
So you said 100,000. What if I don't got quite 100,000? I got maybe 15,000. Can I still use those funds?
You can access any funds.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, you can access any funds.
That's good.
Yeah, you can access any funds.
That's good news. So I know a lot of people, they talk about their bank account. What do you know, in your opinion or from your experience, what are they looking for in terms of my bank account? Are they looking at, I'm getting my hair done every week? Are they looking at, I'm buying food every week? What type of details are they looking for?
Again, I'm not the lender, but no, they not going all into the nitty gritty. Mm-hmm. They want to see your book. A lot of times they want to see your bank accounts for how you paid your earnest money, how you paid your how you gonna pay your down payment. They want to see what your bottom line numbers are in your account. Mm-hmm. They not looking at, oh, she went to Dunkin' Donuts and she keep going to get her car washed. They not looking at that. They looking for the meat and potatoes. They looking for your in and out, for how you use your money to buy this house, and for how much money you got in their account. Because they want to see that you have the money to buy the house.
Mm-hmm. That brings up a good question. So my dope boy cousin can't give me 100,000 or maybe 10,000 to put as a down payment for my home.
Does he have it in the bank?
He does not have it in the bank.
Nope.
He can't give it to me as a gift?
Mm-mm.
Really?
His money has to be seasoned and showing in a financial institution. He cannot give you money from under the mattress.
Wow.
They have to know where the money is sourced from.
Okay. What if he is a business owner and he still doesn't have it in the bank, but he's an entrepreneur?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Still got to know where it came from.
Got to know where the money came from.
Wow.
IRS, Uncle Sam, taxes, America.
Y'all, Grandpa can't pull it from under the mattress.
Nope.
So he put it in his bank account first.
He put it in his bank account. It needs to sit in there. His money has to season. So usually season money is about 3 to 4 months. You can look it up. You can Google it.
That's not bad.
You gotta let it marinate. You gotta put a little Lowry's on it and let it sit.
Okay, that ain't bad. That ain't bad.
Yes.
So if you are someone that's looking to buy a home, she's giving so much meat. You can start around meat and potatoes. So you can start around 580 as a credit score. You 620 is a green.
620 is better, but you can have as low as 580. So like FHA loans, they'll take a 580, but they usually want to push you over to a 620.
Okay.
But what happens is they'll try to work the formulators and give you some tools to bump you up to that 620.
Oh, that's good.
But if you're in 620, it's much better. Like you won't have as much as it won't be as intense. It'll be a little easier for you.
Okay. What is an FHA loan?
All right, great question. So I'm sorry, I mentioned VA loan, FHA loan, conventional loan, cash loans. So an FHA loan is a loan backed by the government. So way back in the day, it used to be when, you felt like only rich people could buy a house.
Yeah.
Well, FHA came to kind of help level the playing field, to make the market competitive so that average everyday Joes could buy a house. FHA loans come with a lower down payment requirement, which is 3.5%.
Wow. Okay.
They're usually the debt to income ratio is more lenient, so it helps average middle class workers and things like that be able to get into homes.
Oh, that's good.
VA loans usually come with people who have been in some type of military service, and they're able to access VA loan funds. Conventional loans are loans that are just, available to pretty much anyone if they qualify, but they're usually their qualifications are a little higher than FHA qualifications are.
Is FHA first time home?
No.
Nope. Okay. Okay.
So now you're a first time home buyer. That's what someone could be called if it's their first time buying a house.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, first time home buyer funds are associated with down payment, like down payment assistance.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I've been seeing advertising. I know you have as well. Down payment assistance. What is down payment assistance? Like, I know you said you also need to have some money saved for that appraisal, for the different things that you're gonna have to pay in that whole process. What is down payment assistance?
Okay.
Because I wanted that.
And that's the thing. You wanted it, but you couldn't get it because you didn't qualify. So, how down payment assistance? Down payment assistance comes with criteria that you must qualify for. It doesn't automatically come to someone being a first time home buyer for reasons such as this. It's a program for people who need it. If the program doesn't view you as someone who needs it, for example, say you make $180,000 a year, but this your first time buying a house. You ain't never bought a house a day in your life, but you make $180,000. They don't feel like you need it. So you're not going to qualify for it likely because you make so much money. So just knowing that certain criteria fall in line for you to qualify for down payment assistance. Also, down payment assistance programs can come as grants. They can come in the form of a loan. That's the other thing. You sure you wanted a down payment assistance program? Some of them come with a higher interest rate that you have to get on your house for partaking in that down payment assistance. Yes, true story. Some of them charge you something called a loan origination fee. They charge you $6,000 in closing. Did you still want it, and they only giving you 10?
Wow.
Well, so really now you only got $4,000. So you just got to read the fine print, ask questions to your lenders, compare. Does the down payment assistance program help you even though it charges you all these fees and all those different things? All of them aren't like that. There's so many. They all have different qualifications. It depends on your lender who offers what. So this subject matter, we won't be able to just dissect it all in this one podcast together, but just know that lenders have multiple programs, and those programs usually have some sort of criteria set up in them for you to qualify for those different down payment assistance programs. Are people asking us questions, Noah? Or are they just commenting?
I think it's just comments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We'll go back and address the questions.
Okay.
We'll leave your contact information out there so they can reach out to you.
Absolutely.
If, they have questions. So if I live out of state, can I still call you for questions? Like if I live in Arkansas or I live in Mississippi, are you a source that helps people that's in different states?
I can help someone, but I won't be able to answer questions for them. So meaning like, say for instance, if they want to me to find them a realtor, I can find them a realtor, and then once I find them a realtor, we can help them ask questions together. It'll be a referral for me, but that person would be their actual realtor.
That's good.
But I can't just answer their questions because technically I'm not licensed as an agent in their state.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know.
But I can help them. So like if they call me, I can find them a realtor. We work together in a team. I've done that before. In Florida a couple times.
That's
and
good.
Then I have sold houses in Georgia as far as Macon, and I've had a client way up in North Georgia. So yes, I have traveled in my car to help my clients.
Okay, so she will be a valuable resource for those of you that do not live in the Georgia area, and she can help you find a realtor that's in your state. So those are some great tools. Let's see. I want to ask. Let's see. Okay, so if I have a boyfriend, we're not married, but we've been together for quite some time. Do you feel like it's doable, or will I be able to buy a house with this person?
Yes, you can buy a house with a boyfriend, girlfriend. You could buy a house with a friend that's just your best friend. You could buy a house with anybody.
Oh, that's good.
Your mom, your
That's
dad.
good.
Yes.
That's good. That's
Yep.
good. So if I've bought a house before and that house is on my credit, do I like it's still in good standing? Can I have a second mortgage?
You can have, it wouldn't be called a second mortgage, but yes, you could get another house.
Okay.
So you a homeowner, if you qualify, you can buy two houses. You can buy multiple houses.
Okay.
There's some things you'll have to do, depending on your salary. Mm-hmm. If you make enough money, you can just do it. Mm-hmm. If not, you will have to have, if you plan on keeping that house, you will have to have a tenant in place, tenant agreement, and things like that in order for you to be able to buy another house.
Okay.
But you're still liable for that house, whether you have, that tenant pays or doesn't pay. Mm. So yes.
Oh wow, that's good.
But it's all based off your credit worthiness.
Okay.
Credit worthiness and your income and all those good things. You can have multiple homes. I've been a multiple home owner at one time in my life.
Wow.
I was a landlord for 5 years.
Wow.
My first house, I rented it out for 5 years.
That's good. Look at you. So let me ask you, I had saw a YouTube video where he said, and this kind of actually put a second thought in my mind. He was saying that it's better to be a renter than to actually buy a home. And he gave reasons why to rent. Basically saying you won't be stuck or it's easier. Do you feel like there's advantages to buying a home over renting a home?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Tax advantages. There's things you'll be able to write. It's yours. You're flexible. If you want to paint a wall and not have to paint it next year, if you don't want to move, there's so many advantages to be a homeowner. But guess what? It's all based off personal preference. Do I feel like everybody should be a homeowner? No.
That's good.
But
that's good.
I would like to make everybody in America a homeowner, but I don't feel like everybody should be a home. Everything isn't for everybody.
I love it.
It's not for. But if you make good money, and you're out here, you want a piece of the world. Owning real estate is a good investment. I feel, but this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a good investment. It's an investment that pays you back. Guess what? It's an investment that has helped our communities. Think about some people we know are of color or what have you, but even Caucasian people. Houses have allowed people to build wealth. When you sell houses, some people have made $250,000 or $300,000 off of selling a house. When do you normally hear people get $300,000? Unless they hit the lottery.
Yeah.
But they did it because they bought a home, took care of the home, and because of the market trends, they were able to capitalize off of it. Mm. So depending on factors like that, buying a house can help build generational wealth, can help make you use some type of money, can help, give you money you've never seen with your eyes all at one time. Mm-hmm. I've seen the checks go to people where they get the check selling their house and the check is $365,000 because they sold their house. Mm. It's a way you could capitalize off of it if you do it right, if you do it well.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
So I just feel like his commentary was that's what he felt, and he gave points to solidify his argument, and I bet somebody on the other side of the table would give points to solidify their argument. I think it's all in preference.
Yeah, and I want to say this: being a homeowner does not make or break you. First off,
and it sure doesn't, and it doesn't define who you are.
Because we live in a generation where we feel like our assets or things we have makes us better than the next person. It doesn't. Cancel that narrative. And the Bible also says that a man is not the sum of his possessions. Like your worthiness, and I'm paraphrasing, your worth is not based off what you possess. But I also want to give people hope. I want to inspire them and let them feel like you are not too far to buy a home. It is not out of your reach. And I know some people, I never seen mama buy a house. I never seen daddy buy a house. You know, and that's who I'm talking to. Those that have never seen it before, I want them to know that it's possible. I want them to know that there are steps that they can put in place today to set them up to be a homeowner, if that's your dream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I say do it. If it's your dream, do it. Manifest it. It is nothing like walking in your house that you've paid the bills for, that you've tilled the land, that you've planted the seeds, that you put the flowers in the yard, or that you've changed the blinds, or you've upgraded the doors, or that you've decorated. And it's a great feeling. You can do the same thing to apartment, but I mean, there's people up down. Having your own, I mean, it's personal preference, but I just feel like it's nothing like having your own house. But that's just me. I'm JoVaun the realtor, and that's just how I feel about it.
Look, and everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Their opinion.
But that's why I brought you today, though, just because I know, like I said in the beginning, you have overcome some challenges that a lot of people they back down from. You've overcome some things, and then you showed me some things that other people wasn't showing me. So I wanted just to bring some of your wealth of knowledge, your expertise in the industry, and just share that with our platform and our guests. So I want to kind of move the needle over a little bit in terms of becoming a realtor. If I want to become a realtor, what are some steps or advice that you would give for someone that's seeking to become a realtor?
Research first. Interview another realtor. I say that because it looks glamorous, it looks easy. Online, they've made it look like you just take somebody in the house, they instantly love the house, and they buy a house. It is not like that. All customers not looking at new construction homes. There's been some houses I've walked in, Satan was in there. The spirit of evil was in there. I've walked in houses where I'm having to duck because it's spider webs and it's scary, or it just don't feel right. So some of them are dirty, and it's muddy, and you got clients, they want to see houses in the rain, and it ain't always as glamorous as it is, and it's feast or famine. That's another thing. It's feast or famine. You either eating or you not eating. If people not buying houses, guess what? You're not eating. It's you just got to look at the good and the bad, and you got to determine if you want to be in it, you want to be on that boat, and you want to ride the wave, because it's some waves, and it's most people's biggest purchase. So on TV, it's all glamorous and all that. You dealing with personalities, multiple personalities. Some clients, they bring their family members. You having to hear them talk about how they realtors and who this. So you having to smile through a lot of things, and you just have to determine if that's what you want to do. And school teaches you a lot. When I went to real estate school, I almost didn't want to do it anymore.
Wow.
And it was funny because our class started off with about 50 people. When we got to class number 2 and they started talking about the money and certain things, we came back the next day. It was probably 20 of us left.
Oh, wow. Wow. So
I mean, it went from over half the people. Wow. Because I think they signed up thinking that it was one thing, and no. And the test not easy. The test is hard. The test is hard, but I guess it's designed that way. They want to weed out who's serious and who's not serious. Wow. So I'm not saying this to be discouraging. I'm saying this to say
it's true.
It's the truth about it. These are real facts. Like, research if this is something you want to do. And it's a saturated market. Heck, she a realtor. I'm a realtor. The next person in the room is a realtor. Like, it's 5 of us sitting in the room when we go somewhere. It's very competitive, and it's
doggy world.
It's a dog world. And I mean, some of the more seasoned agents, they're mean. There's some mean agents out there. Y'all need to stop being so mean. But it's some mean agents. The seasoned agents, they're mean.
Really?
Oh, honey. Yes.
Wow.
So don't think that it's just easy and glamorous, because it's not. You're not going in. It's not always beautiful homes you're going into.
Wow, that's a good.
Especially if you start out, because you can't really. I can't say you can't. You can do whatever you want to do. You can say I'm just working with sellers or I'm just working with buyers. But if you're working with buyers, you going all over, and you going into homes people that lived in. You walking in on stuff and you see stuff and yeah. So
it's a different side to the coin, but it's achievable.
It's achievable
because you were a teenage mother and now you are a successful realtor. And I'm sure there's different heights of your career that you want to reach. As we opened up, you're now a broker. What are some tips or advice that you want to leave with someone that's preparing to either walk into real estate or become a broker? I mean, you said some good stuff just previously, research and doing your homework.
Stay true to your why and remember your why. Smile, pray,
to God.
Just remember your happiness in all of it, because it can be overwhelming. It can be a lot when you have clients on the other side that you care about and you're passionate about, and if the deal isn't working out the way that you desire in your heart for it to work for them, it can be trying. It can be hard. So you have to remember your why. If you're gonna do it, keep going. If you don't pass the test, keep going. Get back up, sign back up, and do it again. Keep going. If it's what you really feel like that's what you are supposed to do, just keep going.
That's good.
And keep going.
You said something. If you don't pass the test, so say I took the test 3 times, should I keep trying?
Yep. Do it again.
Do it again.
Pay the money and do it again. Especially if you know that in that vision that God gave you, that you saw yourself there, you need to just keep going.
I love it.
I'm gonna tell you why. And me, keep going. Yes. Transparency. I failed. I failed them both once, but that's just transparency.
Yeah. Look, I got my insurance license, and when I first took the test, I went in there thinking I knew everything, and I was like, okay, God, I need you to help me on this, but I got this. And God was like, no, baby, you're gonna fail this test, because I want you to know you need me to help you on all of it. You don't know what part you don't know and what you think you don't know. So baby, I went back in there, and I was so humble. I was so humbled by that experience, and I just was like, okay, God, I need your help for every part of this test. Every part of this test. I want to ask you a few more questions about the home buying process. I know that we can't cover it all in one segment, but I want to ask you, look, it's so much going through my mind just because I want people that really desire to buy a home to feel like they can. I want them to know that it's a way for them. Reverse mortgage. I don't know if you know too much about it, but being with you, I learned a little bit about it. And I know you don't have to go into too much detail, but if I have an elderly mother or grandmother that's been in their home, paying on this home, and we know we don't want to pass this down to our children, because they probably never gonna leave it. They're gonna probably sell it anyways. Can you kind of hit on a little bit what you know about reverse mortgage? Any tip that you know, because I learned a lot, and I don't know if you was driving that conversation, but I learned a lot when I was with you.
With me, and you learned something about me.
And I think it could have been Sterling that was driving that conversation.
I don't have anything to offer.
No,
I don't.
Do you know what it is? What is it?
It's basically a mortgage where it allows for the homeowner to tap into their equity and basically get money out of the equity, but it essentially changes their mortgage payment. Yeah, I don't want to speak on it because I'm not a lender, and I don't want to say it the wrong way, and then somebody come on here, they like she was wrong, so I'm gonna just leave that one.
Okay. That's wisdom. And the reason I asked those is because I heard Sterling say that there's an elderly couple living in this home, and with the reverse mortgage, they could now receive a check from the equity or from that home to where they're no longer having to pay a mortgage, but they're getting a check because they're on a fixed income. But again, I'm not a lender, so I don't know the full details of that. But I know he kind of hit around that, and I was like, wow, that's good information.
They do. All I know is they do get a check, and they usually get the check to help them with making repairs on the house or something like that. But
it's not
I don't know.
Okay, I will leave that question alone.
I know from my understanding, it's a lump sum amount.
Okay, I thought he was saying there was a monthly stipend, but again, we'll leave that to where it is. I just thought it was just intriguing.
Yeah, you have to say, because I think you got a mortgage person coming, right?
I do. Yeah, I do.
She gonna
we'll let her
stay tuned and come back for that one.
Yep. We have Chantrice Zachary that's gonna be joining us. She most of you guys that live in Rockford, Illinois, know her. She's a mortgage lender, and she's gonna give us some of the back end parts of buying the home.
I love it.
This has been great, JoVaun. I hope someone is inspired. I hope someone believes that they too can become a homeowner. I hope if you are thinking about being a real estate agent, you have hope, you have been inspired on today. And do you have a notable miracle that has taken place in your life that you recognize? I mean, your life really is a miracle, just hearing the backstory of it. But is there one thing that has been this was a miracle, like nobody but God, a moment that you've had?
Oh yeah, well, since we're talking about home ownership, 110% where I live at right now, I went into this home buying process, again, single, and I went in, and at the time, I don't care. It's whatever. At the time, I had a job. I was making $80,000 a year. And I went into this neighborhood, and I was like, I want this house, blah, 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 blah. We went through the pre-qualification process, and the gentleman was like, he did my pre-qualification. He was like, oh, yeah, you good. I was like, well, what's my pre-qualification amount? What's my number? He chuckled. I was like, why are you chuckling, Lord? Because mind you, I've done this 2 other times before, and I was always told a number. I was like, why are you laughing? I said, are you laughing? He said, yeah. I said, so what's my number so I know which houses I can look at? He laughed again. He was like, you just need to pick a house. And I was like, so I could pick any house?
Wow.
And he was like, yeah. You're the one concerned with the mortgage payment. And I was like, what that's supposed to mean? So he pretty much told me I could go out there. I said, let me take it back one more time. I said, so I could pick the big one, y'all, because I was in shock. I couldn't find my words, my collegiate words to say. I said, so I could pick the big one?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah,
the one I want.
Big one? No, it was I didn't want it. But I was trying to I was perplexed because that had never happened in my processes. I was always given an amount.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is strange. So I went, I said, okay. So I picked the house that was in between the big one and the smallest one. And I said, I'm gonna get the baby big one. And I remember getting in after getting closed and after getting the keys, and I remember literally, I mean, just as clear as day, standing in that house in the middle of the house and looking up and turning around and was like, this is my house. I was like, oh God, you gave me this one? Wow. I can't believe it.
Amen.
And he brought me back to where I was visiting. I went to a party with a friend. I was in this lady's house, and I loved her house. And I was like, man, I'll probably never live in a house like this. Honey, my house looked totally different to that house, and even better and bigger. And I was just like, God brought me back to, remember you said that and you were sitting in that person's house? And I was just like, man, you sure did go over and beyond what I thought. But anyway, we're there, and I say that's a future miracle. And yeah, I feel like I'm just a miracle within myself. Because, absolutely, like I said, sometimes I wonder how am I standing, functioning, smiling, and
peace that passes all understanding.
Yes.
But he is true to his word. I like to say every day is a miracle, and that's what, as we come to our close, I want you to know that there's a miracle in every moment. Every part of your life is a miracle, and I want to share with you the miracle moment. This is something I'm so excited about. In the next few months, you're going to see me holding our journal, which is called the Miracle Moment, where you can document those miracle moments. I'm a girl that loves journaling. I've been journaling since I was a little girl. I'm so grateful that the Lord has given me the gift and desire of writing. But I would write out the things I wanted to see in my life. I would write out even the challenges or the victories. I would write out everything that was taking place in my life. I would just write out my day. And I'm so excited to announce that we have submitted our journal, and it is with the publisher, getting ready to be published. So this is the insert for our miracle moment that I want to share today. Embrace life as a gift from God, declaring that He is still good in every moment, even in the ones that don't feel so good. Choosing this perspective creates a lifestyle of thanksgiving. I'm going to tell you, when you're thankful for something, it just continues to multiply. I don't know if you have children. I know sometimes with our children, when we give, as you know, I have two bonus babies, but when we give one something, then it comes back with an abundant Thanksgiving. So it just makes you want to pour it out to that child. It makes you want to, you're a mother. I'm sure once you give something to one of your children and their response is, okay. You know, it's no, it doesn't come with any gratitude. But if you give something to another that comes with like an abundance of gratitude, it makes you want to continue to give to that child. And that's the same with God. He wants us to continue to give Him thanks, continue to give Him praise for the things that we do in our life. So yes, life brings its own challenges, but it also overflows with God's goodness. A miracle, in my words, is God's victory in the most challenging times. It is His triumph prevailing no matter how it feels. So let's embark on the journey of documenting our miracle moments. So that's just a small excerpt of the introduction of the journal that we have coming called A Miracle Moment. So again, if you tuned in tonight, I hope that you got something from our guest, JoVaun. JoVaun, thank you for coming, being in person with me, and just giving our guests so much of you. Thank you for sharing your life and just even the tips and the expertise that you share with us today. So again, if you guys are looking to reach out to JoVaun, I'm going to drop her information. If you're in another state, like she stated, she can connect you to a realtor near you and just kind of help you with the process. Let you know, and this is a scary process. You know, I think that the misconception is it's so hard. It's so hard. Like, and a lot of people say it's so hard to buy a house. I feel like that's a misconception that's been fed to us. Yes, it's challenging. Well, it has its own set of challenges, but it's not impossible. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can't overcome. It's not something that you can't do. So, you know, I don't want you to get in your mind that it's so hard to buy a house. I want you to know that you can do it too. You just have to know the steps. You just got to do your homework. And on top of doing your homework, you got to follow the process. So again, thank you guys so much for joining. It's been such a great pleasure. I hope that you were blessed. And again, thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Any last words before we close out?
I just wanted to ask you, was it hard for you?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so that's honest. I appreciate that.
It wasn't hard. It was just work. You know, if the lender is asking for something, you got to be on top of it. And I think sometimes people don't want to be on top of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if I ask you for a W-2 or a check stub, just send it. But I think sometimes it's too much work to people. But
and real quick, I think you should tell them that you didn't think you was gonna be able to do it.
I did not. I guess I'll share my testimony.
Yeah, come on.
Look, girl. I'm like a pass shot that closed 3 times. But I do want to share my testimony. I will. So in January, I reached out to a lender, which was referred to me from a person that I know. This person I'm in close communication with. So, and I knew you, but I reached out to this lender and she was like, "You're not ready." So this was in January of last year. And she said I wasn't ready. So the Lord instructed me to pay off my credit cards. He said, pay off your credit cards. I paid all my credit cards off. I didn't really have any high limit credit cards, but I brought them under the utilization amount. And when I did that, I saw a significant jump in my credit score. So in April, we spoke to another young lady that I met at the gym. And she just came in and she started telling me about the lender giving incentives. And I had never heard that before. You know, and information is out there, but it's ignorant. We're ignorant to that information if we've never heard it before. So she started telling me, oh, you can get a new build home and the lender will give you credits for that home. The lenders will pay your down payment, pay your closing costs, all these different details. So I'm in the gym and I'm like, okay, God, maybe you do want me to buy a house. Because again, I saw this video a few years ago that was saying, just be a renter. So I was like, maybe I don't need to buy a house, you know? Even though in my heart, I always wanted to buy a house. So this lady connected me to her lender. Her lender told me, this was in April, her lender told me, you need a little more time on your job. I had been on my job 2 years. It was just shy of 2 years. I was about 3 months from 2 years. And she said, I want you to wait until, say, you reach that 2-year mark, then call me back. And when she said that, I was like, okay. I talked to my husband. I was like, maybe it's just not our time. We'll just rent another house. We'll wait until we get everything in place, until everything is the way it should be, and we'll rent again. We'll rent another year. And the Holy Spirit said, call JoVaun. I said, okay, I'm going to call her because I'm a person that does not give up. Look, you can tell me no 100 times, but until I have a peace with that no, I'm not going to take that no. So I called JoVaun, and this is why I really wanted you on the show, because when I called you, you were so encouraging, you were so positive, and you said, let's just try. That I think that should be like your slogan. Let's just try. Because she gave me hope in that moment where I felt like I'm just gonna rent again and I'm not ready, because we were living in a townhome. And you started sending me homes. And that was something so different from the first lender that from the first real estate agent that we had talked to. She was just like, oh, you got to get pre-qualified first. And she just was not responsive. Like, I had to text her like, hey, what should I do about this? Or, hey, what do you think about this? And like, she would take 2 or 3 days to respond to me. And I was just like, not feeling a peace about her. I just was like, why I got to chase her down? Like, why I got to beg her to give me information about buying a house when I know you about to get a commission from this? And it wasn't, to me, it wasn't just about the commission, but I just felt like she wasn't working for me. I felt like she wasn't helping us. So we called JoVaun, and JoVaun started sending us homes. We started getting excited. Like, when they send you a house, I don't know, for me, it was just like, there's hope for you. You can do this. And just your push in that of, you can do this. It was like, okay, we can do this. There's hope for us. So you immediately said, let's set an appointment. When do you want to view the homes? And I'm like, that's the exciting part. When they say, when you want to view homes, because it's starting to feel like it's becoming more real. It's starting to feel like, okay, maybe I don't have as much homework to do that I think I have to do. So she said, I'm available. This was, I think maybe like a Thursday or a Friday. She's like, I'm available not Monday, but I'm available Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So she started immediately, like I said, sending those homes. She set the appointment. So we started looking at homes, and we started looking at new homes. But it was just such a blessing, because the first day we went out, we found the home that we liked. And when we found that home that night, I went to my cheer practice, and it was just so convenient to get to that practice within 10 minutes because I was doing an hour commute for that. And that night she called the lender, or she called the seller's agent. And I was like, it's 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. She calling him. She was like, realtors don't sleep. We do this. Like, this is what we do. Like we in this. So she called the guy of the home, and we went with the new construction home, and she called him, and he said, go ahead and do the application. So we did the application that night. and me and my husband, we prayed about it. I'm a firm believer that you have to bring God in every moment, even though He's already there. But when you include Him in that moment, He just makes it a miracle for sure. So we praise God. We got to praise. We just started thanking God for the home. We started just giving God thanks before we even had it in our possession. So that was a Tuesday night that we did the application. Wednesday, we got on the phone with the actual lender. The lender started telling me what he needed, started looking over the application. Thursday was kind of some of the similar process, and I drove by the home again, and we just started just thanking God for this home. And by Friday, I want to say by 2 o'clock, we had a pre-qualification.
Pre-approved.
We were pre-approved, yeah, not pre-qualification. Yeah,
okay.
we was pre-approved for that home in a matter of 3 days. I like to say a lot can happen in 3 days. Our Savior was raised in 3 days. So a lot can happen in 3 days. Yeah. But from that point, the contact was with JoVaun and the lender. They was telling us what we needed. Taxes, bank statements, and just different things of that nature. 401k statements, whatever we were going to use for the down payment. Like she said, we started saving money. We started putting aside. We ain't gonna eat out this week. We're gonna put aside a little bit more. I ain't gonna get my nails done twice in this month. I'm gonna put aside a little bit more. So we just started putting things aside. If you're not in a 401k, I highly recommend getting a 401k because you can use that 401k like a small savings account. Because if you're wanting to buy a home, that's money that's coming out before it's taxed. That's money that's coming out pre-tax, and it's available to you for a down payment. So we bought this house unseen. We had toured some of the models, but just the whole process was a miracle. The whole process was a miracle, and it was something that I didn't think was I didn't think it was our time.
You didn't.
It was our time.
You called me. You were not convinced, and I said, just give me a try. Just try me.
Mm-hmm. It's scary.
We could try to make it happen.
Yeah, and can make it happen. Not just try, we can make it happen. She can make it happen. So it's a scary process if you don't have someone in your family or someone to bounce things off of, but it's possible for sure. So that's our testimony, our miracle. All right, thanks again, guys.
Good night. I'm JoVaun Realtor.
Every day I wake up with new grace. Waking up with a smile on my face.
On social media. Yeah, I'll leave your contact information. All right, bye guys. Thank you.
I gotta give him praise. I know life gets tough sometimes.